The 2000s were a strange time. The political divide was tense, social media was just becoming mainstream, and when you write a screenplay for a mature action comedy, it winds up getting released as a kid's movie.
Do the bang bang boogie, sit up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie. This is great!
What the hell happened with Kangaroo Jack? If you're part of my generation, growing up in the late 90s and early 2000s, I can imagine you saw lots of ads for this movie. Live-action comedies featuring animals have always been popular with kids, and in 2003, it seemed like Kangaroo Jack would be the next one. Anyone watching Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network was saturated with trailers about a silly rapping kangaroo being chased around Australia by two lovable goons. Seemed pretty clear-cut. But when the movie actually came out, parents and critics alike were puzzled.
It's too late for that, Charlie. This time you screwed up big. Final straw big.
Louis, they feel so real.
Sorry, this is a kid's movie, right? I mean, they stuffed in enough bathroom humor, but something just felt off. Millions of people went in expecting a run-of-the-mill kids fare, but got some sort of weird mafia movie. Not to mention, the heavily promoted rapping kangaroo only appeared in one scene. The rest of the movie included hitmen, groping, crime families, with the occasional fart joke.
What is with these camels?
So again, what the hell happened? Well, this should come as no surprise, but the movie was not shot as a kids' film. In fact, the story was conceived by the writers of Con Air and Missing in Action 2. They came up with the idea for an Australian-based mob comedy with a similar vibe to Midnight Run. In essence, an action-slash-buddy comedy hybrid with a mature audience in mind, with all the sex and cursing you'd assume from such an affair. As those involved in the movie had pointed out, the script was fairly dark in nature, and the now infamous kangaroo only appeared very briefly. The script, titled Down and Under, had interest from several Hollywood outlets. The highest bidder was none other than renowned producer Jerry Bruckheimer, who found the story interesting, clever, and had a soft spot for the kangaroo. Again, the kangaroo was only a small part of the script, but we'll come back to that. As Bruckheimer usually does, he brought in a number of writers to help touch the script up. Writers of movies like Splash, Pleasantville, and he even brought in the legendary Farrelly brothers. Hard to believe so much talent went into this, but we're not even at the bad part yet. For the director, Bruckheimer went with David McNally in an effort to capture the same hip and slick feel as their last collaboration, Coyote Ugly. And after shooting began, it seemed the pieces were in place for a solid teen to young adult action comedy. But after viewing rough cuts of the film, something just didn't feel right. The movie didn't seem to be coming together well. While the overall story worked fine on paper, it seemed they were having a hard time portraying it in a way that captured the same intrigue. They screened it for test audiences who reacted with a general, eh. It seemed after all the potential, the script just didn't translate well to the screen. But not all hope was lost. Because while the movie as a whole fell flat, there was one part of it that struck a chord with kids in the audience, and that was the kangaroo. While Bruckheimer was attending one of these screenings, he noticed posters for the then-recent kids' movie Snow Dogs, which was a pretty big hit with children. In fact, Snow Dogs grossed $115 million on a budget of $33, and was heavily promoted with the cuteness of its animal leads. Suddenly, Bruckheimer had an idea. They didn't have to give up on the project, they just sent it in a new direction. And just like that, the name was switched from Down and Under to Kangaroo Jack. Following Snow Dog's lead, new footage was shot that put the kangaroo in the spotlight. The studio spent roughly $10 million to create a cartoony, CGI kangaroo that replaced the mechanical one from previous shoots. And just like Snow Dogs, they shot a single scene of the animal talking and put it at the forefront of the ads. Exactly what they needed to get kids' attention. Now, a studio bending over backwards for a film like this is not common practice, but Bruckheimer is a big deal, and Warner Brothers trusted that he knew how to properly invest studio money. Upon submitting the film to the MPAA, Bruckheimer cut just enough of the profanity and innuendo to get a PG rating. And with that, the rapping kangaroo ads showed up on every kids' network, promising to be the next adorable children's film that parents would have to sit through. And sit through it they did. Needless to say, this backfired. The movie garnered an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. With the consensus reading, the humor is gratingly dumb, and Kangaroo Jack contains too much violence and innuendo for a family movie. So, yeah, what exactly did the producers think would happen? Critics were confused and parents were outraged. And while I'm not usually one to agree with parents complaining about mature content, this time I kind of can't help but take their side. These goofy trailers about a sassy kangaroo running circles around two goofballs were incredibly misleading. Commercials that were played non-stop between SpongeBob episodes. Parents even wrote to the studio to complain about this. The idea that established Hollywood powerhouses would collectively market this film to children rubbed parents the wrong way. And to add salt to the wound, it didn't even make money. After all was said and done, the movie grossed $89 million against a budget of $60. For those who don't know, you have to gross twice your budget to break even since half the money goes to the theaters. After all the dirty marketing, they didn't even get the profits to justify it. So that's what the fuck happened to Kangaroo Jack. And at the end of the day, who should we give the most blame? It's not the kids' TV networks that ran the ads. They had no way of knowing. Hell, they should be pretty mad too. Is it the film's producers who purposely misled the audience? Is it Warner Brothers for allowing and participating in this deception? Or is it the MPAA for having a system so arbitrary and outdated they were willing to give the film a PG rating based on minimal standards without stepping up and practicing the morality they claim to promote? Everyone, they all shat the bed on this movie. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a hot minute since I uploaded. It's actually my New Year's resolution to get more consistent, and you can help me achieve that by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I really do want to upload more regularly, and maybe even get back into doing longer content. So thank you again for watching, and up on the screen you'll see a recommendation for more stuff you can check out.